Maintenance is one of the main 4 basic need categories we talk about when you go home with a puppy. So for short-coated breeds like a French Bulldog, there's a variety of different forms of maintenance that we have to consider. And the big thing to note when you're talking about a puppy and its maintenance activities is that while it is young, this is the time to get the puppy familiar with all the things that you're going to have to do throughout its life. If you make regular maintenance routine, if you make it part of the regular thing that the puppy experiences, then you're not going to have to fight with your dog to do its required normal maintenance behaviors. However, if you skip this part, if you don't desensitize the puppy to the maintenance activities, the puppy is going to give you a run for its money, and it's going to make these processes difficult for you. And anything that's difficult doesn't happen very often, which means that you'll have higher vet bills, and owning your puppy will be a little bit more of a hassle. So we greatly encourage you to get your puppy familiar with the maintenance activities now, while it's little and a manageable size. So as we talk about this type of dog with this type of coat, one of the things to note is that they shed. This type of dog will shed regularly. So navigating the brushing of this type of coat and doing it regularly is an important element. So this type of a grooming device works for all coat types, but works really, really well for this type of dog's coat. Originally designed for horses, this shedding blade has 2 different types of teeth. You've got coarse teeth and you've got fine teeth. And so you literally just go with the direction the dog's coat grows. And you're not whacking your dog, you're not like pressing down really hard. You're just gonna let the grooming tool do the work. And you will pull loose fur out with this grooming process. Now, this is not something to do inside if you can possibly avoid it, because there's nothing that gathers the fur with this type of a grooming loop. So you're just going to have hair fluff off. So when you're done brushing your dog, you're definitely gonna wanna kinda wipe them down a little bit before you bring your puppy back inside, so that way we don't have hair flying all over the place. The other nice thing is if you use the fine teeth on this grooming loop and you do this after your dog's gotten a bath, but before you take the dog out of the sink or out of the bathtub, what will happen is you're kind of squeegeeing water out of the coat with this motion, so there will be less water shooting all over the place after your bath. So that's the proper recommended type of brush to groom this kind of intermediate length coat. What do you think about that? All right, so then the other thing that comes up a lot is bathing. So a dog like this that has a coat that sheds, that's not very long and not very thick, doesn't need to be bathed all that often. And it's important that you use a shampoo that's going to be appropriate for the coat type that we have here. So this type of dog with this coat type might also experience irritations from seasonal allergies and things like that, just because there's not a lot of fur protecting the actual skin from the environment. So we want to use an oatmeal shampoo. This is going to be really nice for this coat type. It's not going to dry out the coat, and the oatmeal is something that you can be using a little bit more frequently without having, adverse effects to the coat. So under normal circumstances, for this type of coat, you're probably doing a bath once a month, and that would be fine. If your puppy's in the housebreaking process and it gets messed up, we would recommend you use the wipes we included with your housebreaking kit. However, you could possibly do this up to once a week without adverse effects. We do recommend that after you use your shampoo, you use a moisturizing conditioner. So this is the Avocado Moisturizing Conditioner. Again, that's gonna be great for your puppy's coat, and that is gonna make the puppy's coat feel very soft and reduce any dryness that might be caused by the bathing process. So that's really fun and nice. Now, as we said, you're not supposed to overbathe your dog. Sometimes dogs with this coat length will smell a little doggy. Depending on the breed, some dogs smell a little bit more doggy than others, and that's largely a consequence of the natural oils that are in your dog's coat. They have a bit of an odor. So on an in-between bath basis, you can freshen your puppy up with one of these deodorizing pet sprays. And what you would do then is literally just a little mist, and then you can kind of just work it into the coat. You could probably just pet your dog and work it into the coat. And the deal with these deodorizing pet mists, the aroma produced by the actual liquid is very subtle because they have an enzyme that actually takes away the doggy smell. And then they just kind of smell fresh. It's kind of like Febreze for your dog. So that's a nice thing to use, and you can use this multiple times a week if you needed to, and that would be fine. Now, dogs like this that have little wrinkles and folds around the face, sometimes as these dogs grow up, they'll have little wrinkles on the back end or somewhere here around the neck, rolls. You got to keep these areas clean. So we have these little eye wipes, and it's specifically geared towards this area around the face. Sometimes the dogs that have the bulgier eyes, the eyes will tear, and then the face is just wet all the time. And then they're just gonna attract some dirt, yeasty kind of smells, stuff like that. So these eye wipes have witch hazel and aloe. That's a fine thing to use, and you can just kind of wipe the little area around the eyes, reduces the chance of staining, freshens that area up, keeps it real nice. A dog like this with the bat style ears that are up, that allows things to get in the puppy's ears. So regular maintenance of the ears is a good idea. There is less likelihood of infections unless you're really letting moisture get down in here on a regular basis, because at least an up ear allows for some airflow and some drying. We do have the ear wipes as part of this maintenance assortment. And so you literally just take these and get in here, and you never go digging. You never go digging down deep into the canal, just what you can see, and that will help get any little bits of debris out of that puppy's ears and keep it looking nice. Post-bath, we already talked about how you can use your grooming tool to kind of squeegee some of the water out of the dog's coat. You got to dry your dog though. You shouldn't have your dog just be wet. So we do include the microfiber wet paws drying mitt. Each one of these little microfiber fingers has a large capacity for absorbing water. So after your dog is done with its bath, you've used your little grooming tool to squeegee a little bit of the water out of the coat, you can kind of just chamois this dog all over, and it really works nicely, and that way you're not using a lot of your own towels to dry the dog. So that's great. And you have a handle on here, so it allows you to kind of take their little paws and dry their paws. And then this, of course, is machine washable, and it will last you a long time. These are pretty durable. Dogs like this can dry out on their little nose and their little paw pads. These areas just can get dry, particularly in the winter. Going inside now, going outside, inside, outside, inside, where there's a large temperature differential, can dry out the nose and the paws. We have this paw guard with lanolin. It is just used sparingly. You just literally like wipe your fingertip on this, and then you can work it into your dog's little nose. You can kind of give them a little paw pad massage. Oh yeah, how you like that? Is that fun? And that keeps the paws moisturized and prevents the pads from drying out and cracking, because that is a thing that can happen in the winter time. And similarly, the nose can get really dry and crack too. So we want to make sure that we're keeping all those areas moisturized, and so using that paw guard is the best thing to do. Another thing that's really important maintenance-wise, and one of the things that is critically important that you desensitize, is the dental health for your puppy. Puppies don't like their mouth messed with very much. And so you need to get your puppy familiar with getting its teeth brushed while it's little. the finger brush is the way to go. The finger brush has got lots of very fine little fingers that will get the puppy used to the sensation of having this in its mouth. And you can plus up this experience for the dog with this delicious dental gel. This is hickory smoked bacon flavor. It comes in a variety of tasty flavors. So that way the dog actively allows you to get into their little mouth and use this finger brush to brush their teeth. If you do this regularly, you don't have to worry about dental procedures at the vet. Dental procedures at the vet can be very expensive, and while necessary for your dog's dental health, you have to put your dog under anesthesia every time you do it. So if you can avoid all that by keeping the dog's teeth clean and healthy just through routine maintenance, that's the best solution for all those circumstances. So we start with the finger brush. This kit includes 2, and then eventually you can move up to a more traditional looking toothbrush. And at that point, the puppy's not gonna fight you because you've already desensitized the puppy to a lot of this normal routine stuff. So that is our grooming assortment for dogs that have this type of short coat and look like this. So it's all available together as a package at a discount. If you have any questions about how any of these items work, please come to the store and speak with a pet counselor.